Have you ever had trouble figuring out the best way to report on complex data? Today, Devohne covers reporting tips and tricks, including matrix reports. Welcome to 100 Days of Trailhead, where the tech community comes to learn Salesforce, learn tech, get inspired, and invest in ourselves. We are your trail guides, here to support you on your learning journey. We release videos weekly. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a video. In the description below, you can find links for everything we mention in this video, as well as books and resources we found useful. Visit our blog, 100daysoftrailhead.com, for other helpful Salesforce and tech content. Have you found building reports on complex data frustrating, or wonder the best ways to get the most out of your data? In this video, Devohne Moore discusses ways to report on your data and how to visualize this data using out-of-the-box Salesforce reports and dashboards. Devohne is a Salesforce consultant, a PepUp Tech alum, and loves all things Salesforce. Your quest, should you choose to take it, is to journey with us to learn how to best utilize the out-of-box Salesforce reports tools. Your quest begins now.
So today we're going to be talking about my 5 tips for reporting within Salesforce. So I'll start sharing my screen and we can talk about a couple of things that I just find cool about the tool. And so the first thing that I really want to talk about really pertains around matrix reports. And the reason why I feel like this is something that is kind of cool to cover is because a lot of people, I believe, shy away from matrix reports. I think for most people, it can be slightly confusing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and create an opportunities report. And in the opportunities report, I'm going to group it by a couple of things. So first thing that I'm going to group it by is the rows. And I'm going to group it by the stage on the row level. And then on the column level, I'm going to go ahead and group it by the close date. If I can type. So then I'm going to group it by the close date. So before I do anything else, and before I dig into any other information that comes out, I'm just going to go ahead and sort the date. But first, let me do what I call resetting the report. So I always come in and reset those filters so that hopefully it pulls in some results. Cool. So now what I'm going to do is I see the stage kind of at a higher level here, which obviously outlines what stage the opportunity is in, and it kind of gives you the number of them based off of the date. But this report right now is not telling me too much information. And the reason being is because I'm looking at every day that the close date is associated with. So a way that I like to summarize it, and something that I feel like could be very useful, especially for nonprofits, for example, when you're coming up on your end of year reports, you could group it by that fiscal year. Then it really starts to make more sense to you so that you can see at a very high level where things stand. If there are things potentially from a year or two ago that you want to follow up on, or for example, if there are some closed won opportunities that we may want to send our appeal to, where they donated to us last year, but we don't see them donating to us this year. And one of the reasons why, again, I think people shy away from this report is because generally when you come into this report, this is what you see. It's kind of a grid. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of information that's captured on the report. And I think most people generally just get confused from this point and they kind of shy away. But what I find that a lot of people don't know is if you click into each of these squares, you get actually the information that is pertaining to that square on the bottom of your screen. And these fields are really the other fields that you define back in the editing screen over here. These columns are where they're going to display on the bottom portion here. Cool. So my tip number 2 really goes more to the reporting chart. So what I'm going to do is go back here and let's go into our quality score report. This is the standard report that came out of the box. But if we see here, we have a report chart that's already included with this report when it was set up. And it's another report that kind of pulls in a summary. So it pulls in the summary based off of the score and then the record count that matches within that score. And so what I would like to do is maybe I want to see this a different way. Maybe I want to see it in a funnel view where it shows me at a high level who has a dial quality score of 0, and then it shows me the larger scores going the other way, going down. Or if I flip this and I make it turn the other way, and I click out of it, then it pulls the highest dial quality score at the top of that chart and pulls me that they have 18, which takes up for, like you see, the most or the large majority of this particular chart. But the reason why I think that this could be useful for a lot of people who are using charts is because sometimes the information within a report can be a little difficult to interpret or understand at a higher level, especially if you're communicating with people who may be a bit less technical. And so adding the chart really enables people to really tie the missing piece together so that we can make the data talk, allow it to be visualized in a different way, and allow things to really take on a form in and of themselves. And the good thing is with the different charts that you're able to pull in here, you have the same options that you do from a dashboard level. And you also can pull these into a dashboard based off of the report chart that's here. Fairly useful, specifically talking now to opportunity stages, is you can kind of define your chart colors for your different opportunity stages. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to, actually in my object manager, I'm going to go over to our opportunities. I'm going to go over to our stages. And so for each pick list, and this works across pick list options, but for each pick list option here, you'll see that there's a column that says chart colors. And this just assigns it dynamically. But say if you're a really visual person and you really it makes it much easier to see, like if a closed opportunity is green, or if it's a closed won opportunity, it's green, and if it's a closed loss, it's red, and kind of anything else, because all of these other ones just show open status. Maybe I just want all of them to be orange. So a really easy way to do that is just go right into this opportunity stage. And then in that chart color, we're just going to click it and a little kind of bubble comes up, giving us our options. And so this is the closed lost option. So I'm going to go ahead and make that one permanently red. And so what that does is anytime that I create a chart within an opportunity report that's grouped by, or that has closed lost on there, and we're using that in our chart, it's going to automatically default that to be a red color. A cool tip, or one of the cool things that you can do with reports, is be able to really define your own custom report type and be able to really flesh out the specific things that you need. Or if there are current custom report types that are in your system, and for some reason you just don't see a field, you may want to just go in and add that into that layout so that you're able to interact with that field, filter upon it and things of that nature. So if we go into our report types, there are a couple that I already have set up. And so I'll talk a little bit about the structure of how they're generally set up. So you'll pick a primary object. So for this example, we picked accounts. And then your secondary object will be the one that's related to that primary object. But you have an option, and this is very important because sometimes these are often confused, is you have an option to pick either with one of those related objects or with or without one of those related objects. And the key difference between them is if you choose the one that is with, it will only show you, in this example, accounts that have opportunities. If we choose with or without, it will show us essentially every account, because it will say that we just want to pull in all accounts, whether they have opportunities or not. And so that's very important because that sometimes will cause confusion when you're creating a report with a report type that may have been set up incorrectly, or may not what you need. And it will pull in way more results than we're expecting. And so if we choose the one here, for example, where we have accounts with at least one related opportunity, that tells us that we're only pulling in accounts that have a related opportunity to it. And so if I, for any reason, wasn't seeing a field that I know for sure is on the account, or something cool that I'll show you in just a moment, I could go right from the report type. I'll go right to this bottom section where it tells me these are the fields that are available for this report. I can go in and edit this layout, and then it gives me all of the options, all the fields that are available on the account object. And then also if I click this drop down on the opportunity object. But what's even more cool and what's more interesting to me is that we can also pull in related fields from this same exact view. So I like it because a lot of times you'll have to reach over to something that's connecting, but it may not make sense for the report type structure. So maybe we don't want accounts that have contacts that have opportunities, because in that instance, we're leaving out organizational reports, or we could be leaving out organizational accounts rather. The next tip that I'll be talking about is really using reports in a dashboard way. So the one reason why I like to talk to this is because I think that dashboards are one of the most useful ways to see reports that pertain to a particular object or a particular portion or a particular subject. It's an easy way to pull them all together. But another reason why I also like to pull them into dashboards sometimes is just because you can have a visual aspect and also have kind of a text aspect all in the same view, which will allow you to really kind of drill in and see information in a different way. And so this is, again, a standard dashboard that comes out of the box with the developer edition sandbox. But I really like pulling reports into here because it allows us to see the information and interact with the information in a different way. And we also can click right into any report directly from the dashboard and be able to view that information. One of the other really cool things about dashboards is you can add like dynamic filters, if you will, to be able to interact with the data from a higher level.
And with that, we're at the end. What reporting tips have you learned that you could share? Comment below. We would also love to hear what video topics you want us to cover in future videos in the comments. If you've made it to this point, we want to take an opportunity to say thank you. Since you've stayed with us, let's listen to Devohne as he provides a reporting bonus tip.
And the only other thing that I really would say about this particular, or about dashboards and adding reports to dashboards, is depending on the type of report, that will dictate what type of information or how it will display on your particular report.
Thank you for spending time with us. Please like and subscribe to our channel because we share weekly content to support your tech and Salesforce learning journey. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss a new video. We also handpick these videos, which we recommend you watch next. Connect with us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and on 100daysoftrailhead.com, all of which are listed below. Thank you for learning with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.